Hello everyone, this is Scarzig, and welcome back to another episode of Duelyst. Today, we're going to be doing Stun Rhino 2. I'd like to think that when I come up with a new deck, I go about it a little bit like a mad scientist, maybe a little bit like a chef. You build the deck, you play it, you test it, you figure out, what extra seasonings it needs. You make some changes, you go back in, shift up your recipe a little bit, and get something new. After playing the deck, especially on stream, I was getting rocked a lot. And some games, don't get me wrong, were just straight up unlucky, where I would have a really strong early game, and then I would just run out of follow-up in the mid-late game. And I realized that the deck was too reliant on just stuffing my opponent onto their side of the board early in the game and just not letting up. And that ends up being a bit too inconsistent. And so in order to counteract that, I realized I had to make some changes to the deck. And one of the cards that I hit on was actually Sleet Dasher. This card doesn't see a lot of play simply because everybody's aware of the Boundless Courage, clear your opponent's tire board meme thing that it's got going on. But I mean, a 4-mana 3/6 Primus Shield Master has that same stat line, and that's one of the things that led me to Sleet Dashers, because I was thinking about putting in Primus Shield Masters to the deck, and I was like, well, what if I put in Sleet Dasher? Because it still has that same, you have to kill this type of threat, but if it lives, you get to control your opponent's board, which is what we're looking to do with this deck. You get some nice face damage, perhaps, with the Boundless Courage. You clear your opponent's entire board. Then you get to do 5 damage to them. It has the chance to take some removal, right? Eat a couple removal spells, and then it sets up for your Rhino that much better. So the Sleet Dasher I actually really like. I think that one of the things this deck was lacking for sure was a very, very weak 4-mana slot. And so that allows us to have, you know what I mean? Like 2, 3, 4, 5, like really scale up into the Rhino well. One other thing as well is that if I can just play the Sleet Dasher on 4 mana, that's perfect. That's one card instead of me having to play off curve with a 3-drop or 2/2-drops, because then I'm just throwing away my entire hand, trying to use my mana efficiently, trying to keep up with what my opponent is doing. So this is just fantastic for the curve. Another addition I added was the White Asp, which is just great pressure to remove stuff. Your opponent's forced to answer this as well, and the Blazing Spines can really help keep your opponent zoned onto their side of the board. So I've been really enjoying the White Asp lately. We just have one copy because we don't need it all the time, especially if you're low on HP, you don't want to top deck White Asp. It's really great to play super early, and it's a great answer for really big threats like maybe Silverguard Knight, along those lines. Did some tweaking as well. I mean, we still have just the 2 Gravity Wells. I have just 1 Wailing Overdrive because it's a powerful spell, but it's 4 mana, right? So it's you can't really top deck it, and because you need to have bodies on the board, it's just there's an extra combo piece that we want to draw later in the game, or hold on to it when we can set up for it realistically, rather than having a high chance of top decking it. We also have Mark of Solitude in the deck, which I realized was actually very good because it allows some of our early drops like Hearth Sister or Crystal Wisp or Healing Mystic to get really big trades. Our Gravity Wells can get buffed and stick around a lot longer. Snow Chaser is a great candidate for Mark of Solitude as well. And every once in a while, it just becomes a removal spell. I've done games where I'll use Mark of Solitude on a Sojourner so that I can keep clearing my opponent's board, just like Sleet Dasher, right? While drawing cards. And then you get the option where you can actually use Chromatic Cold on your own Mark of Solitude target to clear it out, to dispel the cannot attack generals aspect of its effect, and then finish them off, which is just beautiful old school Vanar strats. So we're going to hop into the ladder. I've been really enjoying this version of the deck, and I think that I was able to stumble across exactly what I needed. One thing about this deck that I have come to realize and I've come to respect is that you just lose to Zeron. Like, straight up, you lose to Helenar, because Circle of Life is just such a clean answer to Rhino, and Sunbloom like shuts down everything else you're trying to do, and just keeping up with making sure they don't have any bodies on the board really takes away the sort of pressure that you can put out. Sometimes you get lucky, of course, where they don't have an answer to Rhino and you're able to kill them, but it hasn't really come out that way for me. So looking at this list, keeping the Sleet Dasher is great because we're going second. I think I might want to Crystal Wisp, Crystal Cloaker. Because getting the Sojourner online this early is not that great. And if I were to get a Gravity Well, that would be fantastic. So I think I'm going to throw the Icy as well. That way I have a high chance of just going double 2-drop or Gravity Well into Crystal Cloaker. My opponent's playing Starhorn, and that tells me that this might be an aggressive deck or a combo-based deck. Wow. Since my opponent was not able to play anything here, I think it's proper that I just do this. That way I can keep pressuring him on his side of the board. And right now, he'll actually be forced to play a minion here to keep the Crystal Cloaker from getting in, rather than play something diagonally to try to get a mana next turn. And the Hearth Sister just makes this hand so good because I can walk 2 forward, play the Hearth Sister to get the Crystal Cloaker into infiltrate range, and then take out whatever nonsense he's playing back here. Prophet of the White Palm. He's playing the Dance of Dreams deck. You scallywag. I have not seen, well, not since I attempted to do it. That was something that I was cooking up in the lab, but it was no bueno. It would be awesome to just walk forward, probably just play Sleet Dasher, because Prophet of the White Palm, he has to trade it in. He'd have to use Prophet of the White Palm and his General to kill the Crystal Cloaker, and then natural select the Sleet Dasher. And if he's looking to just summon a bunch of small minions, then Sleet Dasher can just do work. Because he didn't block, I don't need to use Hearth Sister to get it into range. So this allows me to take control of the center. I get access to all this mana. Alternate plays would be just to Icy him for the stun and then summon the Crystal Wisp, which actually might be a lot better, just to get this damage in. And this protects the Crystal Cloaker. I could potentially get another rotation of 4 damage in on him. I'll probably replace the aspect of the Fox or maybe the Hearth Sister and maybe stumble onto a Wailing Overdrive. This is the sort of setup that we want Wailing Overdrive to come into our hands. We just get a big burst of damage. He's going to try to do a cheeky thing here and keep the Prophet of the White Palm alive, because playing a deck like this, you want to try to keep your... It's almost like you're playing Abyssian, where you want your small minions to live until you can play Dance of Dreams and cash them in. I get to make this trade 1 for 1 and then get a ramp Mana Crystal next turn. Looks like he's combining that deck with Decimus, which is fine. I think it's actually prudent for me to Hearth Sister, bring the Crystal Cloaker down to trade into the Decimus. Let me see, 4. See, I can get up to 6, so that allows me to Hearth Sister and Sleet Dasher, which is fantastic. And does it matter if I move up or down? Actually, I'll move down. That way, if he wants to take this top mana, he's still staying next to the Icy. And before we make this attack, we're going to Hearth Sister. Oh my god, this is beautiful. And, I want to summon the Sleet Dasher. I'm just thinking about where I want to put it. Maybe here? Here. No, here. Nice. I think I'll hold Aspect of the Fox. I'll probably replace Sojourner next turn. He's shown me the Decimus. Plasma Storm. Oh my god. I didn't even consider that option for some reason. So he really just ate my Sleet Dasher. That's a huge blowout. I could have just thrown down the Sojourner instead and taken it a bit slower. But this is fine because, I mean, my HP is still pretty decent. And he's going to be having Mechantor Warbeast next turn. I really like that. And my opponent's got a full hand, and we know that he's going to be playing Tectonic Spikes and Entropic Gaze and all that jazz. So, you know, I don't really need to draw a lot of cards. The Frigid Corona also lets us set up a better body block where I can, like, play the Rhino here or something, step down. I can just move my general in front of him. That way, he only has the option to step around me and be on the center row. And the Rhino gets to keep its infiltrate when it's attacking onto the center row. And you see this positioning here makes it so that I get to Warbird him again. Because he wanted to get this cheeky hit to take advantage of the Sojourner. But now I get to kill his Warbeast for free. Let me see. Yeah, I want to play it here. Since I have the Hearth Sister, I could have played this like way over here or something, but I just want to keep him pressured. And we'll play the Healing Mystic to heal the Sojourner. I'm going to walk it down like this. Because if he does have natural selection, he would need to kill the Sojourner and the Healing Mystic in order to natural selection this. So I'm just trying to make that a very difficult thing for him to do. He could potentially step back one, flash Warbeast, clear this out, and then natural select the Frosthorn Rhino. So I should have played the Healing Mystic back one in order to play around that. But that's like worst case scenario for sure. And he just used a Warbeast. And now you see he can't get away from the Rhino. Oh my god, this just closes out games, man. When you don't deal with this thing. I just love how it's like just the right amount of fragile too. Like that 5 HP. Oh, he does have the Warbeast. But you see he didn't flash Warbeast, so I know he doesn't have enough mana to natural selection. Oh, but that's... Oh, derp. I'm like... I'm thinking that the Warbeast would have blocked that natural selection anyway. Holy cow, guys. I'm like super rusty, but... We get our Rhino kill here. Sleet Dasher didn't get to do much, unfortunately. But maybe, you know, maybe it was just enough to bait him into using the Plasma Storm. When he did. And it set him up for a slower turn. Because maybe if I played Sojourner that turn instead of Sleet Dasher, maybe he would have, you know, not used the Plasma Storm and maybe taken a more tempo-oriented turn rather than doing a catch-up turn. So maybe we set ourselves up for the play there, but a lot of misplays I was identifying like right after I made them. So, but you have to remember that everybody's learning here. I'm learning. I'm getting better. Everybody's watching here. Hopefully you can learn something. And I know you guys do enjoy pointing out my misplays, which I actually appreciate. Hindsight is 20/20, and you know it saves me the trouble of having to go back and rewatch on my own replays, right? But we are, I wasn't even looking at my chevrons. I think we're like rank 8 right now, like almost getting ready to hit rank 7. Holy crap, running into Demifeed on the ladder. Now, he knows about this deck. He actually knows about this deck. So let me see. Boundless Courage Tiger is a really good combo. I just have one Tiger in here for just such an occasion. I could potentially hold Boundless Courage to get a really big hit off of the Crystal Cloaker if he doesn't body block it and I can just walk forward. But that seems like really pie in the sky. I'm wondering if I keep Tiger. This punishes Rancor, so I think it's definitely worth keeping. So I think we actually throw these two. No, I'll keep the Fox too. Just in case he's running like Earth Sisters or something like that. Yo, what are the chances? But we're going to throw the Crystal Cloaker down. And I like the Healing Mystic as well for my opening hand, because I can have the Cloaker eat something and then top it back off with the Healing Mystic. Oh yeah, this is great. That is not so great. With double grow. I would like to see a Hearth Sister here, I think. Oh, sweet child of mine. Okay, so we can move down Hearth Sister, the Crystal Cloaker, into range, hit here, then hit Chromatic Cold the Grow. The problem with Grow is that you can't just walk up, hit it, and then let it trade back into you. But I suppose what I could do is just let the Grow hit into the Crystal Cloaker. Because if I do this, then it's just the 50-50. Or maybe it's not, because I would want it to hit the Hearth Sister or the Crystal Cloaker. Yeah, so we're going to do this, I think. And me hitting with my general and then doing Chromatic Cold might have been a little bit stronger there. Would have been, there's definitely a case to be made if I just straight up ate one Grow and then ate the other, left the Crystal Cloaker alive as a 4-1, because then I would still be able to get the heal off before I hit. And there's Rancor. Cheeky. I like that he played it and then got it buffed immediately, so that I don't get a free trade with the what is it, the Saber Spine Tiger. So I think I just trade everything here and clean up his board. And Aspect of the Fox needs to leave me the hell alone. Ooh, this is interesting. I could let the Rex trade into me. White Asp actually counters Rebirth, because the Blazing Spine appears where the egg normally would. So if that's the case, then I can actually make this trade instead and leave my Hearth Sister alive. And so this play gives me 2 Blazing Spines, and it forces him down into my Hearth Sister. And Aspect of the Fox, man. What? That's not correct. Maybe it's because I let him attack me. Maybe if I attacked him, because his damage hits and then I strike back. I'm really curious about that. really curious about that. I guess I'll take the Sojourner. And he's going on to 6 mana next turn. So I want to play my Sojourner here so that if he wants to Macanter, then it body blocks him from getting in with his General as well. And do I want to hit here? The problem is that this forces me back, so it gets me out of infiltrate range. Do I want to hit here? Yeah. If he's showing me how aggressive he's been with Grow and Rex and Rancor, which are just really, really strong early drops that just threaten and create this early pressure, then I think that definitely shows me that I need to be a bit more aggressive in return so that he gets punished for going in so heavy on me. And he's got the Earth Sphere. Okay. I'm about that. And I think we want Tiger to clean this up. Sleet Dasher. Okay. See, now, the next level play would be Frigid Corona here. And then just leave the Sojourner here to body block the Rancor. And then summon the Sleet Dasher. But there's always the chance that he manages to get in somehow. But I think developing the Sleet Dasher is correct. Although I could just Chromatic Cold or Tiger. I suppose we hit first. Which one do we want to hit? Ooh, Rhino. Which, truth be told, doesn't do us much good. Yeah, so we're just gonna stun and Tiger. And he's only got 2 cards in hand. So again, I just have to weather the storm. My opponent could be running Tectonic Spikes for just this scenario where they dump their hand early with like Rancor Rex and all that jazz. And then the Tectonic Spikes will allow them to refill and then keep it going. Grimrock is risky. Because it's a 4 mana 3/4 and that's pretty frail. All things considered. So we don't need Crystal Wisp, such high mana. Ooh, let me see. I can walk, this is the center row, so I can walk 2, get my Wailing Overdrive off on the Sojourner to one-shot this thing and draw a card. And, ooh, Gravity Well. I actually really like that. Or maybe I just Frigid Corona again. That way he can't walk away from the Sojourner. And I'll just hold my ground because I don't want to get War Beast. And then I've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 theoretically. Maloki Huntress. Yeah, he needed that a few turns ago. So we need, what, Boundless Courage or something? Snow Chaser. Okay, I'll take that. Yeah, so we'll Chromatic Cold him so that he can't one-shot the Sojourner. And then we'll just Gravity Well like this. Walk away. Um, we're going to... Oh my god, Icy? That's brutal. I think I should have summoned the Snow Chaser here, actually, so it opens up that spot if he has an answer for this. But this is just us, honestly, playing very defensively and relying on our natural card advantage. Whenever your opponent is using a lot of early game minions, right, and they're putting a lot of pressure on you, you just need to back off and let them run out of gas and then go in. The, what is it called? The Earth Sphere was really good there, because I had the impression that he was running like a Voth Smash deck, but this appears to be like a... Oh, okay. So he has the Plasma Storm, but he's still stunned, you see? Oh my god. That Icy, the drawing that Icy off the Sojourner, like, really let us clinch that game. Alright, but I already did a Rhino deck, and this was just sort of me showing off the upgrade, in my opinion, to that deck. You can kind of see the potential here, where instead of being forced to go all in with all of our cards to set up for a Rhino Hail Mary, essentially, we can stall the game out a little bit to eat a bit more of our opponent's cards, eat a bit more of their removal before we finally set up that Rhino, and it makes it a lot more consistent. One change too that I had forgotten to note when I was going over the deck list at the beginning of the video, you'll notice I actually took out the Spirit of the Wild, and I think that depending on your play style, you could probably sneak that in somewhere. Maybe if you took out the Mark of Solitude and put in the Spirit of the Wild, or maybe if you drop down to just 2 copies of Rhino or 2 copies of Sleet Dasher, you could put in Spirit of the Wild as a one of, and that might be like the perfect mixture there, because Sleet Dasher, Spirit of the Wild late game might allow you to get a bunch of nonsense going, but most likely not, because you really want Sleet Dasher to combo with Mark of Solitude is actually really solid on it, or Boundless Courage, Healing Mystic. But I think that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for stopping by. I'll see you next time, and you have a good one.